SA, Springfield Armory 35. Let's check it out. Welcome to the hideout, and today is Springfield Armory 35, or better yet, some people know it as the Hi Power. Springfield come out with the Hi Power. Before we talk about it though, please click subscribe, click the ringy dingy so you get your notification. Check us out, sgt1911.com. Got all kinds of goodies out there. All right, we're going to talk about the Springfield Hi Power. Now, I did a video a few months back about the FN Hi Power, the new one, and at the time I had not been able to get my hands on a Springfield Armory Hi Power. I've got one now. So right now we have a Browning Hi Power, an original one. We've got a Fabrique National Hi Power, and now we've got the Springfield Hi Power, and we're going to go over to Springfield now, and hopefully we'll be able to get them out and all prepared. A little demo between all of them. Here it is. This right here is the Springfield Armory SA35. Now the reason they call it the 35, we're going to do a little history here, is Saif, after John Moses Browning died, manufactured, he continued on with this pistol build, and in 1935 we released it. So it was the Pistole 35. Sort of like a 1911, but in 1935. It's a 9mm, and the reason it got the name Hi Power, and nobody needs to be misunderstanding this because this is the damn truth. It's not because it's 9mm. It's because it had high capacity. It had more than 7 or 8 rounds, and not that the 9mm is a badass. It had higher capacity, called it was a high power. So this is a 9mm. I think it's about a 13 round. Springfield Armory comes with one cheap ass magazine, you know, in a cardboard box. I wish they'd step it up just a little bit and give us 2 magazines, but then they wouldn't have the aftermarket sales. But let's look at it a little bit closer. I'm going to start on this side, and you can see it's got similarities between the 1911 with the safety back here and a slide release. Very similar to the other Hi Powers. The sights on it, let's take a look at the sights. I do like the white dot sight out there that's going to draw your attention to the white dot. I don't know if you can see it. White dot. So we draw our attention to that. Just plain black rear sights. Serrations in the back only. Little bitty ass hammer back here. Now, there's one thing that I'll mention here that I did mention before on the Fabrique National Hi Power, and I don't know why it did it unless Saif wouldn't pay any attention. The original 1911 was known to have a bite in the web of your hand. So in 1924 they extended the beaver tail and made it larger and repositioned this stuff so that they did away with the bite. But look here, Saif, when they built these things, look where the hammer comes back here, way past the beaver tail. We could potentially have some bite there. If you take a look at that, you see the web of my hand. We could potentially have some bite. Now, when I fired the Fabrique National Hi Power, I did not have bite. And I rarely have that, but I see where that, you know, what was the mistake here? These are supposed to be improvements on the 1911. I don't see this as an improvement. It doesn't have a decocker on it. It's just got the safety, similar, like I said, similar to the 1911. It's got an external extractor right here. You see the external extractor. All fine. It's got like the exact same magazine release. And the magazine index is the same. You can see off this little hole right here in the magazine. Do you see that? Right there. So, in and out. Now the magazine release is nice. It's not too stiff and it's not too hard. Top of the pistol rolls over like an original 1911, no problem. Dust comes all the way down to the bottom. There's not a guide rod like you see on a 1911. It's not there. This is a Hi Power, not a 1911. Now, I will say this. The trigger rounded, smooth, feels very, very good in the hand. Tougher than shit. I mean, it's way out there. We'll measure it, but it feels good. The pistol grips, no checkering, nothing here on the back. No checkering, nothing here on the front. Mag well is not open, it is closed, but it is absolutely feels ergonomically wonderful in the hand when you got the trigger there. I can't imagine it being a bad shooter, but it could be. We're going to pull the trigger on this, and this thing is just absolutely stupid hard. Really disappointing. You know, I think they took advantage, both Fabric National and Springfield took advantage of the opportunity to call something a high power that's really not. 5.7. That right there is getting on out there way past what I would like to see is 5.7. Is it going to be a fine handgun? I like how thin it is. I like how thin it is, and so you can keep it close to your body. But then as we get out here to the pistol grip, it does fatten up and widen up in order to get that capacity of 13 rounds in it. It's got walnuts. There appear to be walnut pistol grips on it, and you know, it's a nice handgun. It's a good size handgun. I don't know. I don't think I'll be disappointed. Of course, you can see it's as dry as can be, but I'm going to make a point today to go out and put some oil on it and shoot it. I'm going to try to shoot a little bit of good ammo through it. The trigger, I want you to notice this is a little bit different, and you may not can notice it. On a 1911, the trigger just slides back. If you'll notice, this has got a little pin right here, and so this trigger rocks. Can you see it rocking in there? The whole trigger mechanism rocks, whereas a 1911 just slides straight back. So internally, there's some differences. Externally, there's some differences, but also there's some similarities. You know, John Moses Browning died before it was finished, but you could see absolutely some of his personality in these things. And we're going to go out and make this one go bang, bang, bang. Let's go check it out. It's windier than hell. Springfield 35, Springfield magazine. Browning Hi Power magazine. Browning Hi Power magazine. Okay, we're back inside out of the wind. I know you can hear me now. What we did, as I said, we fired the original Springfield magazine first. It ran flawlessly, it locked back. The deal is they only give you one. So we got aftermarket sales there, I don't know. Then we tried the two original Browning Hi Power that come out of the Browning, Belgium-made Browning pistol, and we had some problems. For the most part, they fired, but they were not reliable or dependable. So I would not go that route. I'd go back to Springfield and unfortunately let them screw me again and buy me something else. They worked. Slides did not lock back. There was some failure to feeds. There was just some damn problems with them. So as far as taking older magazines and running them in there, don't do it, don't touch it. Now, one more thing on the pistol before we go off to Never Never Land today. The trigger. The trigger's heavy. The trigger feels good in your hand. The ergonomics, it's smooth, it's rounded, it rocks instead of pulls. It really feels really good. There's one problem with it. There is no reset. When you let this thing go back, it just goes way out there until you have to let completely off of the trigger to get the reset. Is that by design? I don't know. Is it because I'm used to a 1911 and most other all pistols? Maybe. Is the Hi Power or the SA35 that different? I would think not. You just don't, you pull it, you let it back, and it's just, watch me pull it, watch me. You gotta let that trigger, look. You gotta take your finger off of it. It's gotta go to the full extent. It's more like shooting a revolver. The trigger has to reset way out there, all the way at the end, where most pistols, you guys know, you gotta reset somewhere in there as soon as you let off. Maybe it resets in here somewhere. But look at this finger go. There's no reset there, look. You gotta let it all the way off. So it's a little different to fire. You take some getting used to. But is it a nice handgun? When you're shooting it with the original Springfield magazine in it, it's fun to shoot. Would I buy one? Obviously I did buy one. Was it a mistake? I don't believe so. I do say this though, I'm sitting here, and you probably can't see it, but I'm just wiggling the pistol grips in my hand. They're loose onto the handgun. First time it's been fired, you know, a little quality control could have been better there, tighten them up. If you can get one at the right price, sure. If you can buy an original Browning Hi Power, there's where I suggest you go. Until we get to shoot again, shoot safe and shoot straight.